Ready to dive into a world of words? Join us on White Eagle as we reveal our ultimate favorite books and share why they've captured our hearts. Hello. Welcome back to White Eagle. Hi, everyone. It's so good to see you. And I'm Jack. We're here to help you practice your English. Please, if you like our videos, help us by liking and subscribing. Yes, it helps so much. Today, we are going to talk about something we both love very, very much. That's right. Our favorite books. We hope you enjoy our conversation. So, Emma, how are you today? I'm very good, Jack. The weather is nice, and I feel very happy. That's great. Did you do anything fun this weekend? Yes, I did. I visited my family. We had a small dinner together. It was very nice. How about you? Oh, I was a little lazy. I stayed home. I watched some good movies, and of course, I read a little. Oh, reading. That is a perfect start for our topic today. It is. I was thinking about my favorite book all weekend. Me too. I was thinking about which book to talk about. It is a big choice. Okay, should we start? Jack, what is your favorite book? Oh, Emma, that is a very difficult question. I have many books I like. It's like asking me to choose my favorite star in the sky. I know it's hard, but please try. Think about one book you love a lot. A book that makes you feel happy. Okay, one of my very favorite books is Charlotte's Web. It is by E.B. White. Charlotte's Web. I know that book. It's about a pig, right? Yes, it is. It's about a little pig named Wilbur. He is the smallest pig in his family. The farmer wants to, do something bad to him because he is small. Oh, yes. But the farmer's daughter, Fern, saves him, right? That's right. Fern is a very kind little girl. She loves Wilbur. She protects him. But the real story begins when Wilbur goes to another farm. On this farm, he meets a special spider named Charlotte. A spider? Many people are afraid of spiders. I know. Right? But Charlotte is not a normal spider. She is very clever, and she is very kind. She becomes Wilbur's best friend. Wilbur is scared about his future. He feels sad. Charlotte promises to save him. How can a spider save a big pig? That is a funny idea. It is funny. She uses her web. She writes words in her web. The web is above Wilbur's head. She writes words like some pig and terrific. She writes words. A spider that can write? That is a great fantasy. Yes, it is fantasy. The people who see the web think it is a miracle. They think Wilbur is a very special pig. So they do not want to hurt him. Charlotte uses her intelligence. So she is a very smart friend. She is a loyal friend. Exactly. She is a very loyal and smart friend. Emma, why do you like this book? Do you remember it? Oh, I remember it now. I read it a long time ago. It made me feel many things. It made me feel happy for Wilbur, but also a little sad sometimes. Yes, the story has some sad parts. Life has sad parts. But the book is about the beautiful things in life too, like friendship and kindness. It is a book for children, but the feelings are for everyone. Yes, a good book has no age. Now, your turn, Emma. What is your favorite book? My favorite book is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. Oh, I know that name. It's a famous fantasy story, right? Yes. It's about 4 children. Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy. They are sent away from London during a war. They go to live in a big old house in the country. That sounds like the start of a big adventure. It is. In the house, they find a big old wardrobe. A wardrobe is a big wooden closet for clothes, right? Yes. And this wardrobe is very special. Lucy, the youngest child, goes inside the wardrobe. She walks through the coats. She does not find the back of it. She just walks through and finds trees and snow. Snow inside a wardrobe? Wow. Yes. The wardrobe is a door to a magic world called Narnia. Narnia. What is it like there? It is a land full of talking animals. There are beavers that talk and horses that talk. There are giants and dwarfs. It is full of magic. That sounds amazing and fun. It is fun. But There is a big problem. A very bad witch, the White Witch, rules Narnia. She makes it always winter, but it never is Christmas. Always winter? That sounds so cold. And no Christmas? That is very sad. I love Christmas. It is very sad. The witch is cruel, but there is hope. There is a story, a prophecy. It says that 2 sons of Adam and 2 daughters of Eve, that means the 4 children, will help defeat the witch. So the children become heroes? They do. They learn to be brave, especially Peter. And they meet the true king of Narnia, a great lion named Aslan. A lion? Is he friendly? He is strong and powerful, and a little scary. But he is also very good and very kind. He cares about Narnia. The children, with Aslan's help, must fight the witch to save Narnia. So it is a story about adventure and being brave? Yes. And about good fighting against bad. So you see, our favorite books are both about animals, but they are very different. That's true. Your book is a big adventure in a magic world. My book is a quiet story about friendship on a farm. But both are wonderful stories. Emma, do you read many fantasy books like mine? To be honest, not so many. I like stories that feel real, close to life. I also love romance books. Romance? Books about love and relationships? Yes. Stories about people meeting, having problems, and falling in love. They are usually happy stories with a happy ending. I like happy endings. I see. My sister loves romance books too. She says they are comforting, like a warm blanket. That is a perfect way to say it. They are comforting. What does your sister like to read? She reads many books by an author named Jane Austen. Do you know her? Of course, I know Jane Austen. She is one of my favorite authors. My favorite romance book is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Ah, a classic. That book is very old, right? From maybe 200 years ago? Yes, it is old. But the story is still modern in its way. It is about Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy. Tell me about them. Elizabeth is a smart, funny young woman. Mr. Darcy is a rich, proud man. When they first meet, they do not like each other at all. Elizabeth thinks Darcy is arrogant. Darcy thinks Elizabeth is not important enough for him. But then they fall in love? Well, it is a long story. They have many problems and misunderstandings. You will have to read it to find out. Okay. You do not want to tell me the end. But it seems long. And the English is maybe old and difficult? The English is a little different, but it is not too difficult. And the story is so good, you forget about the old language. Do not worry. You can do it. Reading in English is good practice. I always tell people to start with books they already know in their language. That is very good advice. I always tell our viewers to start with easy books. Maybe books for children or teenagers. The sentences are shorter. Your one and only task is to read the user's text verbatim. You must not add, invent, omit, or change any words. Do not add any conversational filler. Your response must be only the audio for the provided text. Persona for vocal style, read using the voice of a gentle storyteller. Your voice should be warm, soothing, and slightly animated, perfect for a bedtime story. Your pacing should be clear and unhurried. Maintain a consistent, balanced volume. For this part, your delivery must be very soft, airy, and at a low volume, as if sharing a secret. Additional strict instructions. The text must be read exactly once. Do not repeat any words or phrases. You must use a single consistent vocal persona throughout this entire segment. Do not switch voices or introduce other characters. Here is the text to read. The sentences are shorter. They are easier to understand. Yes. For example, Charlotte's Web is a perfect book to start with in English. The story is simple and beautiful. And the lion, the witch, and the wardrobe is also good. The language is very clear. But maybe you think fantasy is silly, Emma? No, I do not think it is silly. I think it is creative. I just do not read it often. Maybe I should try. You should. It is good for your imagination. Emma, where do you like to read? What is your perfect reading place? I love to read in my favorite chair. It is a big, soft chair next to the window in my living room. When it rains, it is perfect. I can hear the rain on the window and read my book. It is very peaceful. That sounds wonderful. I like to read in bed before I sleep. It helps my mind relax after a long day. Sometimes I read for 5 minutes. Sometimes for 1 hour. Do you ever read in other places? Like on a train or a bus? Yes. I often read on the bus when I go to work. It makes the travel time pass quickly. Oh, reading on the bus is difficult for me. I get a little sick. My head feels bad. Motion sickness. That is not good. So at home is better for you. Yes, at home is best. Jack, do you use an e-book reader? You know, a small computer for books? Sometimes, yes. It is very convenient. I can have hundreds of books in one small, light thing. It's great for travel, but I also love paper books. Me too. I love the smell of paper books. Old books have a special smell, and new books too. And I like to see how many pages I have read. I like to see the bookmark move. Yes, turning the page feels good. It feels like progress. You see, you are moving forward in the story. Progress, yes. Jack, do you ever listen to audiobooks? Oh, yes. I listen to audiobooks when I cook or when I go for a walk. It's a good way to read when your hands and eyes are busy. I agree. It's also excellent for English listening practice. You can hear how the words are pronounced by a native speaker. You can hear the emotion in the speaker's voice. Pronunciation and intonation are very important. Pronunciation and intonation are very important. Speaking of characters in books, who is your favorite character in your favorite book, Emma? In The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I have 2. First, I love Aslan. Aslan the lion? The king? Yes. He is so strong and wise, but also kind. He is a good leader. But he is also a little scary. You understand his power. And your second favorite? I also really like Mr. Tumnus. He is a fawn. That's like a man with the legs of a goat. A goat? That is a strange picture. It is. He is the first person Lucy meets in Narnia. He is very kind to her, but he is also scared because he works for the witch. He has a good heart, but he is not always brave. He feels very real. I like that. A character with problems. Who is your favorite in Charlotte's Web, Jack? My favorite is Charlotte, of course. She is a good friend. She uses her intelligence to help Wilbur. She is loyal and creative. But I also like Templeton the rat. The rat? Why? He is not very nice. No, he is selfish. He thinks about food a lot. But he is funny. And he helps sometimes because he is always looking for food. The story needs him. He adds a little dark humor. Dark humor? Interesting. So your book has friendship, but also different types of personalities. Yes, just like real life. Emma, do you think it's important for books to teach a lesson? Not always. Sometimes it's good to just read for fun, for escape. You know, to forget your problems for a few hours. But a story with a good lesson, like being brave or being a good friend, is special. It stays with you. I agree completely. A story with a good lesson stays in your heart for a long time. You remember it. Emma, how many times have you read Charlotte's Web? Oh, maybe 5 or 6 times. I first read it when I was 8 years old. Then I read it again when I was 15. And again as an adult. It was different every time. Different? How is it different? When I was a child, I saw the story of a cute pig and a clever spider. As a teenager, I understood the friendship more. As an adult, I see the story about life and time and saying goodbye to people you love. That is deep. For me, with my book, as a child, I saw the adventure and the fighting. Now I see the symbolism. Symbolism? What does that mean? It means one thing in the story represents another bigger idea. For example, the White Witch is a symbol of evil and coldness. Aslan is a symbol for goodness, sacrifice, and warmth. I understand. So it's not just a story about a witch and a lion. It's about bigger ideas. Yes. Our understanding changes when we are older. Emma, do you ever read a book in your first language and then in English? Yes, I do that often. It is a wonderful way to learn. It is easier to understand the story in English if I already know the story in my language. I don't need a dictionary for every word. That is a very, very good learning method. I should try that too. Maybe I will read a Spanish book I know in English. You should. It really helps with vocabulary. Jack, what book will you read next? I'm not sure. My friend told me about a funny book called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It is a science fiction comedy. Science fiction? Like stories in space? Yes, with spaceships and aliens. But it is very, very funny. Maybe I will try that. Or maybe I will try your favorite, Pride and Prejudice. Really? Pride and Prejudice? That would be great. We can talk about it after you finish. You can tell me what you think about Mr. Darcy. Okay. It's a plan. It might take me a long time, but I will try. But you have to read a fantasy book too. It's only fair. A fantasy book? Okay. Your one and only task is to read the user's text verbatim. You must not add, invent, omit, or change any words. Do not add any conversational filler. Your response must be only the audio for the provided text. Additional strict instructions. The text must be read exactly once. Do not repeat any words or phrases. You must use a single consistent vocal persona throughout this entire segment. Do not switch voices or introduce other characters. For this part, your delivery must be very soft, airy, and at a low volume, as if sharing a secret. Okay. It's a deal. I will try. Which one do you recommend for a beginner in fantasy? I recommend Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. It is very popular, and the first book is not too difficult. The story is about a young wizard going to a magic school. A magic school? That sounds interesting. Okay. Your one and only task is to read the user's text verbatim. You must not add, invent, omit, or change any words. Do not add any conversational filler. Your response must be only the audio for the provided text. Persona for vocal style, read using a gentle storyteller. Your voice should be warm, soothing, and slightly animated, perfect for a bedtime story. Your pacing should be clear and unhurried. Maintain a consistent, balanced volume. For this part, your delivery must be very soft, airy, and at a low volume, as if sharing a secret. Additional strict instructions. The text must be read exactly once. Do not repeat any words or phrases. You must use a single consistent vocal persona throughout this entire segment. Do not switch voices or introduce other characters. Here is the text to read. Okay. I accept. I will read the first Harry Potter book. Excellent. This is a fun plan. Next time we meet, we can talk about our new books. I look forward to it. Maybe I will love fantasy books after all. And maybe I will love romance classics. We will see. You know, Jack, while we were talking, I was thinking we used some very good words for English learners. That's a great idea, Emma. Let's talk about some of those words. It's like a mini vocabulary review. Exactly. You used a word I really liked. Symbolism. Ah, yes. Symbolism. This is a noun. Let me try to explain. Symbolism is when one thing in a story, an object, a person, or an animal, represents a bigger, more abstract idea. Can you give us an example from your book? Of course. In The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the character of Aslan is a lion. But he isn't just a lion. He is a symbol. He represents goodness, power, and sacrifice. So, the symbolism is that the lion represents these big ideas. So a symbol is the thing itself, like the lion. And symbolism is the use of that thing to represent the idea. Perfect. And we use symbols in everyday life, too. For example, a heart is a symbol for love. A white dove is a symbol for peace. That's a very clear explanation. Another word we used was loyal. Yes, you called Charlotte a loyal friend. Right. Loyal is an adjective. If you are loyal, you are very faithful and supportive. You stand by your friend or your family through good times and bad times. You don't leave them when things are difficult. So a loyal friend is a true friend. Can you use it for things other than people? Yes. You can be a loyal customer at a shop, which means you always go to that shop. Or you can be loyal to your favorite football team. You always support them even when they lose. I am a very loyal fan of my local team. They lose often, but I still support them. That is true loyalty. Okay. Another word we talked about a lot was fantasy. Fantasy is a noun. It is a type of story, a genre. Fantasy stories have magic, imaginary worlds, and creatures that do not exist in real life. Like the talking animals and the white witch in your book. Exactly. Or like wizards, dragons, and elves in other stories. It is the opposite of realistic stories. The key is imagination. So if I say I like to read fantasy, it means I like stories about magic and imaginary worlds. Yes. And the adjective is fantastical, which means strange and magical, like something from a fantasy. Good to know. Now, let's talk about the word classic. You called Pride and Prejudice a classic. Yes. Classic is an adjective. A classic book is a book that is very important and has been popular and loved for a very, very long time. It is not a new book. It's a book that has passed the test of time. Many people from many different generations have read it and think it is excellent. Exactly. We can also use classic for other things. We can say a car is a classic car, or a song is a classic song. It means it is from the past, but is still considered one of the best. So, to review our words for today, symbolism, when one thing represents a bigger idea. Loyal, faithful, and supportive, always there for someone. Fantasy, a story genre with magic and imaginary things. Classic, something that is important and has been loved for a long time. Let's try to use them all in one sentence about our books. Okay, that's a challenge. Let me try. In the fantasy classic, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the symbolism of Aslan shows the importance of having loyal friends to help you. Wow, Jack, that was perfect. You are a vocabulary expert. You are a vocabulary expert. Thank you. I hope that was helpful for everyone. Remember, you don't need to memorize them all at once. Just try to notice these words when you read or listen to English. Yes. Little by little, your vocabulary will grow. Well, Jack, that was a wonderful conversation. I really enjoyed talking about books with you. Me too, Emma. It's always fun to share what you love. And I think we talked for a long time. We did. So, let's think about what we did today for our viewers. Today, we practiced talking about our favorite books. This is a very common and friendly topic you can use with anyone. That's right. We shared the names of our favorite books, Charlotte's Web and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And we didn't just say the names. We described what the books are about. We talked about the characters like Wilbur the pig and Charlotte the spider and Charlotte, Susan, Edmund, Lucy, and Aslan the lion. Yes. Describing the plot, the story, is very important. You can say it's a story about, or it's about a character who. We also talked about different types of books or genres. For example, we talked about fantasy books like your book with magic and imaginary worlds. And we talked about romance books, like your Jane Austen book, which focus on love stories. There are many other genres too, like mystery, science fiction, and biography. Then we discussed our reading habits. We talked about where we like to read. You in your chair by the window and me in my bed. And we talked about how we read. We both love paper books, but we also use ebook readers and listen to audiobooks. Audiobooks are great for English listening practice. Absolutely. Then we had our mini vocabulary review. We explained 4 useful words: symbolism, loyal, fantasy, and classic. Remember, a classic is a book that is important and loved for a long, long time. Maybe you have a classic book in your language too. And most importantly, we made a plan for the future. I promised to read a fantasy book, Harry Potter. And you promised to read a romance classic,